I've had a few flattering requests for a threesome, and today's the day I say yes and get naked emotionally.
Well, hello, boys and girls.
Hi.
What a wonderful day it is today in our money-based economy. Well, sit back and relax and get ready for the guy who's about to ruin everything.
I'm puzzled. Are you really seriously suggesting that Jesus Christ was a mushroom?
Wait, Jesus was a mushroom Roberts.
Yes. You are dealing with a secret cult, a secret society.
Welcome to Waning Interest.
Welcome to the Waiting Interest Podcast, number uno. Ooh, I felt that. April 30th, 2023, the Babbling Dabbler, the smallest click on the internet, favorite, the pinball brain in your favorite machine. It's like a diary or a book, but not as stale or coherent. Just the way we like it. What? When? Why is Gomorrah? Today? When? From a more mentally challenged, obviously, Forrest Gump. But as I always say, I prefer to think of myself as if Mikey and Mouth from the Goonies played a lot of bareback leapfrog, and then a few months later, I said hello to the world, and here we are again, unfortunately. So, not unfortunately, that's not cool because it's not dark enough. I should have said something. I should have hit myself harder, shouldn't I? Anyway, speaking of threesomes, first met this guy 1994 in radio school, and then he went off to work for the company that a few years later bought the company I'd gone off to work for. Then, she, my Jim Brewer, he's just so big. Oh my God. Tell that guy when he does his podcast not to get so fucking close to the fucking camera. Oh my God, it's so annoying. I love what he's saying, but geez. Come on, Jim. What? When? Shh. Then, she appeared. Bing! Bing! At that company, working in the same department as me. And then we found out we were birthday twins. Synchronicity. So he went, fucking married her. And they're still together. But she went off to be a nurse, and he went off to be a physical trainer, proving working in radio will make you want to get healthy. Hi, Susy. Hi, Juan.
How you doing, man?
Juan.
Hey.
He blows it on the first one. I told you. And whenever I do it, Juan.
Hey.
Juan.
Hey.
He skipped rehearsal.
Susy, can you go make him a coffee, please? Wake his ass up. Hello, people. How are you?
Good.
Why am I so big? What's going on here?
You're the host. You know.
What? That's not how it's supposed to be. What happened to the thing that we had before? Where's my thing? Where's the pick? What happened? Where are we going? I hate this. No. There it is.
All right.
This is what we wanted, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Sure.
because of course, if in a threesome, Juan would obviously be in the middle.
Definitely.
Wow.
Juan.
En medio.
1994, right? Yeah, 1994 radio school. I call this fucking guy's house in Miami. His parents have been in this country for a long time. I tried to leave him a message. He never got the fucking message because nobody in his house spoke English except for him.
No, I got a message. Un americano te llamó.
What was that?
An American called you.
Some cracker. Some fucking
Yeah, some
cracker.
white guy called you. I don't know. Go figure. You know,
And
there was caller ID, so I could backtrack. You know, I saw the. I don't know. I'd never called you, so obviously I didn't even bother doing that. But
Oh, that was so funny. I
Yeah.
remember trying to leave that message. No, it's Wayne. I'm calling for Juan. Is this Juan's house? No, what? See it? I'm like, what? What's happening right now? Hey, did you get my message? No.
get it right though. It was Hialeah, so you were never gonna find anybody that spoke English there.
no.
My introduction. Well, no, I'd been there for a few years. I'd been in Miami for a few years before that, but that was so funny.
Yeah, but there's Miami and then there's Hialeah.
That's right. They're two different states, right?
It's
Exactly.
you know, yeah. When people ask me, "Hey, where you from?" I'm Hialeah. And answers everything.
And yet, so that was you were right next door to Miami Lakes, where we went to school, right?
Yeah. So it was a convenience of geography that led us to meeting.
And the price. The fucking school was so cheap.
Yeah.
Oh, so great.
Yeah.
I remember. What made you what got you there? What made you decide to do that? I can't remember.
It was the silliest thing, actually. I was, you know, I didn't know what the hell I was going to do. I was between jobs and whatever. And I was talking on the phone. And my dad walks into the room and he's like, "Are you talking on the phone?" I'm like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Oh, I thought the radio was on." You know, and so then he's like, "Hey, maybe we should try, you know, getting into that. You have a good voice for being on the air." He's like, "You know, if I can't tell the difference between you and a radio, you know." But then again, he doesn't know. Maybe I was ranting about something, you know. And then there was Neil Rogers. You know, I started listening to him. You know, by way of, you know, I went into a deep talk show rabbit hole with obviously Howard Stern was the first exposure I had to a shock jock. And then, you know, I saw the headlines sometime later, you know, about Neil Rogers, you know, in the movie theater. And I'm like, "Oh, I gotta listen to this guy," you know. And then I
gotta listen to the
I'm like,
pervert.
"We might as well listen to this pervert complain for 3 hours and get paid and eat for free," you know. So you get that. I'm like, "Hey, yeah, I could complain for 3 hours about anything. That'd be great." And I got into radio. Yeah. Then I got
And-
bogged down in a news station. But I did get to be the local remote engineer for the Miami Heat. I mean, I'm not a big sports guy, but I was sitting there, you know, right up front. Got to do a lot of star watching. You know, a lot of famous celebrities would show up at those games, depending who was playing, or just because it was the Miami Heat and they were doing good. It was when Shaquille O'Neal was playing for them, so, you know.
The good days.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
I remember them days. Yeah, you worked for the Heat, and I went on to work for the Dolphins.
Ah, I would also do some, you know, Manny would hook up some, like, other gigs, you know, like stuff I guess he was supposed to engineer and he didn't want to do it and he just passed it on to me. And, hey, it's free money for a sit-down job. If I look important, I don't have to do jack.
Oh, that's sweet. When the Dolphin thing for me was great. Where at one point I was Kim Camper's producer for the post game show, which took calls and stuff. And regular game, you know, and on Sunday game, that show was 2 hours. Monday night games at home, or Monday night games. The Dolphins played at Monday night. Steve Nickel wanted the Dolphin stuff off the air at 1 a.m. And, you know, so Monday night games went late. So home game, go and I get paid to go sit there in the booth and watch the whole game, and then the whole locker room thing, and then afterwards, like, look what time it is. It's 12:45. Kim's gonna be on the air for 15 minutes. That's it. Get to do the post game show for 15. Anyway, sorry, Susy hasn't spoken enough yet.
Oh,
Just sitting there, and the boys just ramble on. Oh,
no,
sorry about the Zeppelin thing.
I like listening to you guys. Hold on, my brother is texting me. Sorry.
Oh, these Cuban families.
I got two of those.
Why did you end up getting into radio?
It's a long story. So, um, I first went to college with the idea of becoming a nurse. That was my original plan. So I did all of my prerequisites, and I don't know, for some reason I didn't want to continue. I was a teenager. I was like, I'd rather be out, partying, going to the clubs and shit. So stupid enough, I stopped, but then I was like, fuck, I need to get a job though. I need to do something. And my dad, when he was in the army, he was actually on the army radio.
Oh shit!
And then when he
Did he speak English?
yes,
Right.
both my parents came as children, so they basically grew up here. So then after
Hey,
the army,
tell them to give their in-laws some advice.
I wish I could. Anyway, so he after the army, he started working at WOCN in Miami, which was a Spanish radio station. And he would do he was like in the morning show, like doing the voices and the jokes and all that, all that stuff. And I don't know, I just one day I saw his old cans, which I still have. So we still have them, right, babe? Somewhere. His
Maybe.
army cans, like they were the army issue ones.
Oh,
And
yeah.
his,
And my grandfather had those.
yeah, and the reel to reel, and I was just like, you know what? Maybe I want to try this. So I did. I went to broadcasting school. I went to Barter College in Fort Lauderdale. I don't know if you guys ever heard of that one, but
Yeah.
you heard of it, yeah.
Yeah,
So
I remember
went
now.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Columbia
I went there.
was it Columbia was the other one?
I
Columbia
can't
School of
remember.
Broadcasting. But
Yeah.
that Bowder one, yeah, that we had. Yeah, there were some people that
I
came
thought
out.
it
of
was Connecticut School of Broadcasting.
Connecticut. That's it. Sorry.
Oh, Connecticut, yeah. Anyway, went to Barter, graduated, couldn't find a job. Lots of internships. Lots of people wanted me to work for free, but so what did I do? I went back into healthcare. I started working as a receptionist for a while. And then I just moved up in medical, finally became a mental health tech, working in psych for a long time until I burned out. And one day I was at home listening to the radio, and a commercial came up for a job. Like, you know how Clear Channel would announce their job openings, and they were
So
looking for a
fucking cheesy.
receptionist. I was like, you know what the hell? I applied. I interviewed with Myra, and during the interview, she's like, are you sure you want to do this? You're kind of overqualified for this. I'm like, yeah, I need to get out of what I'm doing, And I think I was a receptionist for like 2 months.
That's right. That's right.
I was a receptionist for like 2 months, and then he who shall not be named, Voldemort, offered me a board opping position up in the news station, like just to fill in on the weekends. And I did that for a little bit, became morning producer. I replaced the hat. And
Hats off to the hat.
remember Hat? Every time Art,
feel like I
maybe
should.
and Brooke would say his name, they'd be like,
He would wear this like
Or a hat.
leather, like
Who are we talking
Indiana Jones wannabe hat.
Right. Who is that? Who am I? I can't think.
I can't remember his name. He was the morning producer before me.
Go ahead. Anyway, I can't remember
Anyhow, I
his name.
replaced him and became morning producer, and then that kind of got old, and Jose had an opening, and then I started working.
That's disgusting. Don't talk about his private life. Eh.
Started working with Jose and Bill Pronte and you. You and I worked on the phone quite a bit at first.
Yeah,
You
because
were
we were in separate buildings
You were in Hollywood, yeah,
before we moved into that gigantic that Brandsmart building.
yeah, exactly.
That fucking place, man. Now they don't. I don't think they're there anymore. I think they all moved out, didn't I?
Yeah,
I think
they
I-
moved out. Hmm.
I stopped in there. When was that? When I went to, was it 2015? When I went to Florida, I went to see some friends in Naples, and they let me use their vehicle to drive over to Fort Lauderdale to have dinner with Mike Bohan's kids. And before I met with them, it was right there off 595. So I'm down there. And no, it wasn't. No, yeah, that's how I got there, and I couldn't believe how much that had gotten bigger as I got more and more east, and it just got bigger. That's not how big this was, and it was even more fucking claustrophobic. Anyway, I went down because I had time, and I went down to that building, and Lisa was. I'm probably gonna screw everything up. She was there. She was there that day. She was back working there, and whoops, there we go. And I went in there just to say hey to her for a few minutes and walk around. I couldn't believe how empty that building was. Couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
It was
We got out just in time.
It's so insane. Well, I had gotten out 15 years before. That was 2015. I left in 01 or early 02, February of 02. I left. Just
Yeah, you went to work with
Nashville.
Henry.
No, first I went to
California.
Nashville for a couple of years first.
Oh,
My ex-wife was one of the VJs on CMT for a couple of years.
Yeah.
oh,
That's when I lived there. That's when I got Dawson's Creek and Runaway Jury and other stuff. But we were going to go to LA, but we got sidetracked for a couple of years with that gig, which was cool. But it makes me now I can't stand country music. At least not the regular, not this newer stuff, that poppy stuff that's been going on for 20 years. I can't take it. Give me Dwight Yoakam and I'm good. And of course Merle Haggard and Waylon Jennings. Anything older, but anything else, that's not fucking country. And I also don't like it because most of them don't write their own shit. Most of Nashville is populated by rich fucking guys who just write, and women who write songs, and then Tim McGraw and those guys just go sing them and make them all hits. I'm like, you don't even know who made that. Like the "What Would Willie Do" song. I just listened to that again. Gary Allen. He didn't even write that fucking song. Because I pulled it up on YouTube. I'm like, who's this guy singing it? And then I look it up. I'm like, oh, he's the one who wrote it. Can't remember the name, but anyway. So I guess I'll do my thing because we got Bob Gaynor. Juan and I's instructor is the old guy, this mofo here. That's an early pick of Red Puddinhead, Bob Gaynor. Who was our instructor, who not long after Juan and I left, he retired. And then the school, of course, went to complete shit. No, it didn't. Yeah, it did.
it just was not what it was.
It wasn't what it was. Yeah, I'm trying to be nice, but I can't.
Because the big, and honestly, the big draw, besides the price, was, and the fact that it was all hands-on. I mean, the first day, Bob was like, okay, there are the rooms, have fun.
Hands-on, and 2 hours a day we had on-air experience because they live from 1 to 2 and then 3 to 4 we recorded a show that they would play back at 11 from 11 to 12. So we got on-air experience, which is kind of what they called it. What was it that Tomorrow's Broadcasters?
The learning experience.
God, I hated fucking saying that. God, and that's what made me go, yeah, I don't want to be a jock anymore. I wanted to be a rock jock, and then luckily going through that when we did that stuff, and then started to realize that, and then I got us in trouble. Remember when I got us in trouble when I did the Jerry Seinfeld thing? Jerry was coming to town, and I pretended I did my little Phil Hendry, and I pretended so Jerry's in the studio. Hey, I did my little Jerry impression, and then I go off and I hit the spots. And I turn around because, it's like Bob's office would be where Jim is, where Morrison is right there. There's a window to Bob's office. And I turn around and there he is. And Gaynor's like. And then he was like, whatever. But then 10 minutes later, apparently, the fucking people at LRN started complaining. And then that got us in trouble. And then remember Laird Stewart got us in trouble? Where he said he went on to he was doing a sports cast and he started it off with baseball, did the Garrett Morris thing from SNL. Baseball, been very good to me, and then he all kinds of complaints.
I fielded a complaint. Because it was, so they sent the call to Bob, and Bob gave it to me because I'm like, I guess the closest to the perfect guy to give it to since I'm Hispanic. I found no problem with the joke. I understood the context of it. Yeah. I hope this guy, I don't know what happened to him. I hope he got really successful. He's a talented guy.
Laird?
Yeah.
I got to tell you. Oh, well, dude. So at that time when he was in our school, our class, remember a couple of the girls always called me Jim because I was always doing Jim Carrey sisters. I used to do it really good. And then which ended up doing it on the air with Ron and Mike Church. I did it for Mike, and I did it for Mike. I really did. His wife was mad, but whatever. She started to get into it. So I went to church on Mike. So he was a host later on, years later, that I worked with, and my former roommate was his producer. And what the hell was I saying?
You were talking about Laird.
Oh, Laird, yeah. He's in Ace Ventura. At the end of the movie, when Marino and Ace are tied up in the marina, Marino is tied up in the marina, and the Super Bowl is on the screen. He's the at the beginning of the game. He's the one,
the coin toss guy.
Yeah, he's the ump that the ref that ump or ref. Yeah, NFL, so it'll be ref. He's the ref that flips the coin, and then he was RoboCop. He was the geeky cop. I can't remember the name of his character's name. I can't remember. Anyway, so get this shit. Years later, when I first moved to California, before I got my gig at Premier Radio Networks, I had gotten some voice stuff where I was doing really well voice-wise. I had one gig that paid a lot of money for a couple of years. What's that crackling noise? Whatever's doing, stop it. Stop it. I'm just saying it because Bob would. I had a gig at Bed Bath & Beyond, and I was a cashier. I just go right in Studio City. I met fucking Sherry O'Terry. I met Ernest Borgnine. I met I didn't know it was Frank Darabont. I didn't know it was him until he handed me his credit card. And I went, oh, shit. Michael Chiklis. All kinds of people I met just doing that. For just to get out of the house for a few hours, some extra dough. And one day, at the cashier, next thing in line, guess the fucking person who steps in the line, I'm like, dude, it's fucking Laird. He goes, what the hell? He lived over. You remember in the Manson story where after they left the LaBiancas, they threw Rosemary's wallet into some place a little bit north in the valley. That's where Laird lived, in that area. I can't say it right now. It's where the psych ward that I was in for a little while is. I can't say the name of the town. It's a little bit north of Burbank. Can't say it. That's where Laird lived. I ended up my cats, Rex and Apollo, that I adopted them from him because he took care of cats, along with all his acting shit that he did, and a lot of the stuff that he did. He also had his place always had at least 25 cats that he took care of because he was part of a cat rescue. And at night he would go to these different spots and feed feral cats and try to grab them when he could, so he'd get them and spay them and stuff, when he could. And he taught me the thing of if you need penicillin, just get a little fish food thing. It's the same thing you're going to prescribe you. It's only $5 instead of paying $100. If you look at it, and I went, you got to be fucking kidding me, because he had to have a lot of penicillin because he got scratched by a lot of cats.
Oh shit!
So if anybody knew, he knew. He got tired of going to the doctor. Like, wait, this is the same shit in the pet store. I'm just saying, just kidding, YouTube. It's just a joke. Look for yourself. I'm kidding, but
to make all your medical decisions.
I'm kidding, but look for yourself. I didn't actually do it. That's just what he said. That's not the Waiting Interest podcast saying that. We butted. What did we do? I was going to put it The Last Hand when I did the Last Hand web series with Luke. We had plans for other episodes of that. One with Jimmy Schubert, and I had an idea. We were going to do something with Laird, which would have been really cool. I don't know if you ever saw The Last Hand. You must have seen that.
Yeah.
The thing with Larry Hankin.
Mm-hmm.
We had plans to do a bunch of others that didn't happen because people got busy after the strike, and Chuck had that camera, and he got hired to do a lot of shit. And let's see, I'm doing this for nothing, The Last Hand, or I can go get paid for this and start paying for this camera. Chuck was like that. That was the 26th or 27th red camera that went on the market. Because there was a list. You had to get on a list back in the day, those cameras that first started, the digital ones that looked like film. so you didn't have to spend so much money on film. Chuck was one of the DP on that, and one of the producers was he got on the list real early, right after he graduated from USC, and so after he got the camera and then the writer's strike ended, it's like everybody wanted him, so the last hand stopped. But anyway, I was going to put Laird in that. But yeah, I haven't seen him in a while, but I adopted my cats, Rex and Apollo, from him. He pops in the line, Bed Bath & Beyond. Dude!
Hilarious.
It was fucking
Hey,
great, man.
Nesting
Synchronicities.
doll story time. Getting
Wait,
back
what?
to him.
I'm
I'm saying nesting doll story time. Getting back to him, to Laird.
Nesting ball or nesting ball? I couldn't understand you.
Nesting doll.
Nesting
like
doll.
the Russian thing. It's like a little doll, little doll, little doll. Yeah.
Yep, Russian.
The guy called to complain that Laird did the impression.
Forgot we were there.
And it's this white guy. It's a white guy that's all offended that another white guy made an impression of a Dominican guy. And I'm like, yeah, but don't you know what that's from? I mean, and I told him, sir, I'm Hispanic. I can tell you for a fact, I'm not offended by the joke. It's actually very funny. It's, but then again, I'm dealing with a, public radio listener. So, but very sensitive. I just couldn't understand why this person of all people is upset that someone made a remark. Baseball has been a very, very good to me. That was the guy's thing. It's like, what, you can't do Sammy Sosa either? I mean, what?
You froze up. You cut out and you froze up a bit.
He does that every once in a while.
I just like messing with people like that. You see what I mean? That's my Tourette's. I just freeze frame.
Dun, 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 dun. Oh wait, no, it's YouTube. They'll fucking strike me for music.
Man.
But to go, I wanted to go back to my thing, getting into radio, where I, we came across each other. Was a lark, just like William Shatner talks about, Star Trek. It was just an actor on a lark. My dad, same thing. I didn't know what I wanted to do. He wanted me to go to school for something. All I wanted to do at that point was go out on the PBA tour. I wanted to go pro bowler. Never even got close. Bowled a couple regionals, but it was never good enough because I was too busy wanting to party.
See, now you're freezing.
Am I? How can I be freezing?
Yeah, you just froze up right
Did
now.
I freeze for you, Susie?
Not at all.
Yeah, it's just you in the middle that's freezing. Why? Because you're getting spit roasted? I'd freeze too. Anyway, that's all. I was a painter during the day, and but my dad wanted me to go to school for something. He gave me a couple weeks. A couple weeks. I wanted to know something. To figure it out. So I didn't, and then just to shut him up one day when he asked, I went, radio. I think I'm getting into radio. Just pulled it out of my ass. But I was a fan of Zeta, and because she was too weird for me. Even though I was a rock guy, that I didn't like. That I didn't want him. They played too much Journey. Too much, not enough Guns N' Roses, not enough stuff that I wanted to hear until it was at night, like the top 10 at 10. The top 10 at 10, number 1, Mitch Lewis.
I have a funny she story for you when you finish yours.
So I mainly listened to Zeta, and Steve Stansel and Kimbo were my favorite jocks. It was in the afternoon. He's like, what are you going to do? I'm like, I'll make some phone calls. All right. Do it. I'm like, oh shit! So I go into the other room to make some phone calls. I calls in. It was in the afternoon, so I thought I was going to be getting Stansel, but I ended up getting Kimba because I didn't realize he was on vacation and she bumped up shifts. And she's the one that told me about Miami Lakes Tech and the on-air experience, cheap, blah blah blah. No, she's actually part of the thumbnail. She's actually part of the. And she's been on. She's been on twice. She did numero uno cero cero. And 87 or something? I don't know. She's been on a couple times. So she's the one that, boom. And then I called the next day to talk to Bob, and he's like, yeah, I want to come to the school. I'm interested, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, yeah, you don't want to do this. Yeah, I do. Nah, this business, Wayne, this business really, it was great one day, but it really sucked. This is 1994. Imagine 30 years ago, and now he's telling me it sucks. Now how about it is? It really sucks now. He was so right. But he's like, no, you don't want to do this. Yes, I do. No, you don't. Yes, I do. No, you don't. Yes, I do. All right, be here tomorrow at 11. Holy shit, was that great timing? Who did that ding?
That's my daughter.
Synchronicity.
Hilarious.
Thank you, Sarah. And then and that's when I met you the next day. I think it was. It must have been because the next day I went down there and I was there. And that was what? This is like an anniversary, bro. Dude, this is like an anniversary. It's April. Yeah, it was like April.
Was it in April?
Yeah, it was April of '94.
Oh, okay. All right. Cool.
Yeah,
Cool.
I didn't even
Happy
realize that.
anniversary, man.
That's pretty cool. Now,
So when are you gonna get that tattoo, dude?
And then, of course, Susy and I are birthday twins. What?
When are you gonna get that tattoo, man?
Oh yeah, we got to tell that story too. Yeah, so we got that on the list. Yeah, but you've got the she story. You want? Yeah, let Susy talk for a bit. The she story.
When I was in nursing school, my internship while I was in school was at She when they were in the trailers. I was
in Davie.
Yeah.
With Kiss, right? With the country station with Kiss.
The country, and they had an AM station. That's where they would stick us for the internships. I forgot the AM station. I can't even remember. But we could only play gospel music. So I just stick on like a gospel CD and just let it play. But at the end of my shift, Joey Reynolds would come in because that was
God,
only place where he could work. Because I remember he got his license taken away, and
oh, that poor bastard, man! Jesus Christ, nobody. It's like trying to find somebody saying something nice about him. It's really hard. So I'm so sorry.
Let me tell you. So he would come in like 10 minutes or so, 15 minutes before I was supposed to be done. And I'd be like, dude, I'm not finished yet. Because he'd come in and he'd like want to take over, you know? So his thing was just stick around. Because when he'd come in, we'd just be trading insults. So like the first 10, 15 minutes of his show was me insulting him, you know? And then he asked me if I wanted to stay and do that. And I was like, no, thanks. Not with you. We did it a few times, but I think we had a listener.
What was that station?
I can't remember.
I don't think you could hear it past the
You could
parking
only
lot.
hear it in the parking lot.
Wow.
Seriously.
Would never guess it. We're birthday twins.
We had one listener, I'm pretty sure. He was the one that always called. Same guy.
What was the station that got referred to as the light bulb?
FTL.
Ah.
They were in
That's
Fort Lauderdale,
right,
but then
that's
they
right.
came into our building. Then when Clear Channel bought Paxson, they also bought FTL, or Paxson bought FTL, or whatever. The Ron and Ron studios in the Hollywood building, because there was Jesus Christ, Wayne. When Paxson that you worked for bought us, WIOD, when we moved to Hollywood into the Marketing Magic building, that was the same thing. What else was happening was Ron and Ron was going to be moving from Tampa to Fort Lauderdale and going to be the morning show, which they were, but they had to have their own studio. So there was 2 studios in the Hollywood building. I worked in both. So we had IOD at the end, and then at the front was the Ron and Ron studios. And then after Clear Channel, yes, because then it was Clear Channel bought us, and then they killed the Ron and Ron show like that. So they were gone, and then the Ron and Ron studio turned into the FTL studio. So after they bought FTL, so yeah.
And then they moved to Miramar.
In that studio, Ron and Ron. Got to say this now, just because this memory, many memories in that studio, but one for it. Had a porn star. I can't remember her name, but one of her things was she had a big champagne glass on stage with champagne, and she would squat in it and do, kind of hold, and then go around and have little champagne glasses around the edge of the stage and go around and fill those glasses. But she also... She also did a lot of things that came out of there. And at one point, both the Rons, they get up. She's laying on the floor, and I have a microphone like this to her vajayjay, and she's putting ping pong balls in there, and the guys are standing behind me over here, and they've got paddles, and she's laying on the floor, and she's shooting them out, and they're.
Oh,
Was that Liz Wild?
That was Ron.
Oh, that was Ron and Ron. Because Liz Wild got
Oh yeah, screw that. She was that.
that was some.
Yeah, they did some
I
stuff.
don't know
but
what they were thinking in that building, pulling all that crap. But
Oh, she was over the top and just trying to be Ron. Yeah, she was. That was horrible radio. I'm coming from Neil Rogers and Phil Hendry and Rick and Suds. That ain't radio.
I mean, that was
Ron and
working
Ron
at
and
the
Ron
time.
and
Yeah.
Ron and Ron.
I mean-
yeah. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, sorry. I was running the board at the time, for IOD, so I don't know what the hell was going on there. All I know is that there would be the two young afternoon anchors trying to do their dignified news, and all of a sudden there's this topless chick smacking her fake boobs up against the glass. Luckily, it was a commercial break. All of a sudden, the news director is coming up with newspaper and taping it up as fast as she could. And oh man, I'm like,
I think
That was
no,
in
man,
the- that was in the Miami building.
that was in the
The Miramar
Miami building, yes.
Oh, Miami. Oh no, Miami. Yeah.
In the Miami building, yeah.
Small. Yeah.
But which glass? Because did INZ connect?
There was the
Juan,
big top
Juan,
studio.
you sound
and
better.
it went-
Juan, you sound
you-
better when you're closer,
oh, I'm sorry, man.
and
I'm
don't.
sorry.
Yeah, and then you don't have to
I'm
talk as.
relaxing.
You
Yeah.
also don't have to talk as loud when you're closer.
Oh, okay.
Go ahead.
All right. I'm not talking loud. I'm just talking at a tone which everyone around the world could hear me clearly.
No, I know, but the farther you go back, the farther then you start talking louder, so you make up for it. But then it actually sounds better when you're right here, baby.
Oh, okay.
Because
sorry.
don't keep talking, because my bunghole hairs are tickling.
Wonderful.
Oh, shit.
How about that? There you go.
God damn. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, what the heck was my point?
I asked you if
Something about being gay.
No. In the Miami building, IOD and
Homer Simpson
INZ
line.
connected.
Oh yeah.
don't remember
Originally when I became a full-time afternoon producer for IOD, it might have even still been INZ. It was during the OJ trial. Okay, which was wonderful because
96,
I got
that was 96, wasn't it? Or
95. Yeah, like 96
95.
was when I got the full-time there, and
Rick
that
wouldn't
was.
shut the fuck up about it. Every day.
Hmm.
Anyway, go ahead.
But anyway, I loved it because it was just wall-to-wall coverage. I just basically had to go in for some commercials once in a while and like actually do news in the afternoon while they were breaking for lunch. That's not exactly what it was going to be like at all. Then, of course, all the other news stuff that happened when I was board hopping, and now it's on the ball stuff. Especially that hurricane sleepovers. Woo!
Hey man,
Love
the one good thing about those hurricane sleepovers was what was it? What did we get? We got $100 script for Ruth's Chris.
Ah,
That was great. My roommate and I would do that, and then we'd go. We both got $100. Let's go to Ruth's Chris, and all right, I'll use some of yours because I'm the drinker. He didn't drink. Dude, it was great. I used to like that because we were literally 1 mile away from the Hollywood building, our apartment. It was exactly 100, literally, exactly, perfectly 1 mile, or was it 2 miles? I mean, it was perfect.
That screwed up the story, dude.
I know. It's been
a mile, man.
It's been 25 years. It was exactly, I think it was exactly a mile, right there at four. We were at 441 in Sterling, and that's right. You guys were never in that building. Anyway, what the fuck? Yeah, I saved a lot of gas in those days. Saved a lot of gas money. Remember how cheap it was, gas, back in the late 90s? Anyway, that doesn't matter. Who cares about gas? Where did we live? Was there something we wanted to go back to?
Anyway, either way, they had moved studios. You know, we were playing. musical
Tits
studios.
and Glass. That's right, Tits and
Yeah,
Glass.
yeah.
Go back
The
to that.
I didn't hear how the tits got on the glass, dude.
the anchor booth. The anchor booth was the former program director's office when he had the
don't
office
have to talk so
upstairs,
loud.
and then he got an office downstairs.
There you go.
So they made that the anchor booth. So,
Right.
or was it the control? Yeah, yeah. They turned offices into studios. So I had my control room, master control. You had the anchor booth, and then you had the big talk studio, which became the FTL
The big
talk
cock
studio
studio.
when they came in there.
Where was that?
Huh?
I was just asking where the big cock studio was.
Talk studio. Talk
'cause you-
studio.
Because
Big
as you
talk
back up and you
studio.
start talking louder, things clip. That's why she's saying just talk like me.
Okay. All
There
right.
you go. Get back to that radio voice, baby. Try to talk like
Anyway.
Freddie Cruz. Freddie Cruz
So
on
what happened is-
what
Freddie
was it?
Cruz, you
Was it
want
Hot
me to
105?
look at it, it goes,
Freddie Cruz on Hot 105. Yeah, that's right. I smoke 6 fucking
Yes.
packs of cigarettes a day. He looked like it too.
I got to say that guy must have been a really nice guy because when I was younger, he was doing the Quiet Storm, and I could not understand why this man was on the air with that accent.
I am
I
fucking
was my
hard
army
right now.
fuck all
I am
night.
so hard right now. Oh my god, keep talking like that, brother.
Is that okay? Well, see, look at this. Now I know I'm married. You know, I should have known this. Like, I would just go up to the hey, lady, how are you?
Now that the
Very
baseball been
beautiful.
very good to me.
Baseball has been very, very good to me. But then I wouldn't need the accent because, you know,
Right.
just, hey, baseball. Let's go.
Let's go.
But I'm a jock. But yeah, and that thing just happened, and it's like, why? This is a news station next door. It's not like it's the rock station next door or the other cool, wacky people. It's a freaking news station. These people are doing news, and the talk show thinks it's a good idea to do that, and it just totally was very tense between the FTL and the IOD after that, very, very much so.
Everywhere
But-
she went, she made things tense because it was just so, it was too, it was so fake. It was like Ron and Ron was Guns N' Roses. Liz Wilde was a Poison. Which one are you gonna choose, man?
I was gonna say enough's enough, but
I do feel bad though because she lost her husband not too long ago, and but that was bad. That's sad. I feel bad for that. But I did her show just in a radio thing. I'm not talking anything personal. It's just about the radio stuff. It was just I've done this, sweetie. You're just going over, and then that what was it? Her boyfriend at the time, who was her co-host,
Producer?
Mickey the Dick or whatever he called himself, Mickey, and he was, and it was so pathetic. I'm like, listen to this going, oh, this is so bad. They're trying so hard, and it was just there was no funny. See, Ron and Ron had tits here and there, but he also had Ron Bennington and Fez Whatley who could wake up out of a dead sleep and make you wet yourself laughing within 60 seconds. At any moment. Dude, how easy it was when I was Batman on the Ron and Ron show, how easy it was to make promos. When I was first there, the producer that quit, when I first was in with them, what was he called? What was his nickname? He didn't last very long. But I watch him make a promo and he's editing all this stuff and moving all this stuff around. Like, and you already got the donut. You know, you got the beginning and the end. And, you know, he's doing all this stuff, taking an hour. I'm like, what are you doing? I'm just not saying that. I'm watching him just like, this is sad because I was there for the whole show. I'm at the board a lot of the times. I'm listening. There were like 5 times in the show where there was a moment that kicked something off where that was like 35, 40 seconds long because Fez, Ronnie just bouncing fucking just back and forth with punchlines. There's like 7 punchlines for a promo. You need 45 seconds for that thing. There's like a whole bunch of times that happen where you don't have to edit a thing. It's all set up and bam, 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 bam. Just use the last punchline. Dink! He's fucking blah, blah, blah. Oh, so when he quit, I went, oh, good. I get to take over the promos. Yeehaw. It was so fucking easy. And I had to make 2 a day. It was simple. It was so easy because those guys, slam, slam, slam. When they got on a run with something and then fucking back and forth, Ronnie and Fez, bam. You get fucking 5, 6 punchlines in a row. It's so easy. And then and not only that, but you got the rest of the room howling. So it sounds so fucking awesome because you got 4 people in the background laughing while these 2 are just going, yeah, Ronnie, well, bam, 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 and just, ah. And fucking Bennington is he's a fucking Mike Tyson of fucking radio funny man, but he doesn't get the recognition. But anyway, what was I saying? Something about being gay.
I think
for
you were
Juan.
wrapping up your story about getting into radio.
Oh, well, and they were a big inspiration for me to get into radio. One of the reasons why I just popped it off, it said, yeah, I want to get into radio. I had been a fan of theirs. I took a day off of work to go to the Button South thing. When they were at the Button South, they were originally supposed to be at the Hard Rock in Miami, but then they wouldn't. Then Flipper, who I took the place of, his band that was going to play, and they wouldn't change the name because they were calling the band Dead German Tourists.
Oh, I remember that.
It's very topical at the time.
Yeah.
It was. But whoever where they were supposed to have the live gig in Miami originally that had been promoted for months, at the last minute they said, no, because if you don't change the name, then we ain't doing it. And those guys, the balls, the rebels that they were, one of the reasons I loved them, said, well, fuck you. And the Button South went, hey, no, over here, come up here, a little more north. And I took the day off, and my girlfriend and I went, but we couldn't get in because it was so fucking packed. We were one. But, oh, Carrie, beautiful redhead. We were 2 of like fucking 100 people outside waiting to get in. And every once in a while, like 4 or 5 people just so fucked up because it was, the place had never closed because the Button South, remember, they were open until 4 a.m. Well, they stayed open, I think, because to set up everything, because Ron and Ron starts at 6 a.m. They were a morning show, and it was alive. It was on the air. So, I mean, fucking place was packed, man. We never got in. I just said packed, man. Ooh. So, Juan, talk to me.
Okay. What do you want me to say, man? What else?
We're supposed to talk in that fucking accent, you dumbass. Jesus.
I was
What
expecting.
happened? Oh, yeah, man. Come on, man.
You were supposed to.
They
You were supposed to do the
come and
Freddie
go.
Cruz. You were supposed to
It's
do the Freddie
free-forming,
Cruz thing.
Inspiration, man.
Juan.
Freddie, ¿qué?
Is there a delay? It's supposed to be
Yeah,
Juan.
there was.
Yeah.
¿Qué?
Bam, bam. It's supposed to be Juan.
He's no
There
happy.
you go.
Hey, Susie, can you take over the Juan thing? When I say Juan, I want Jeff.
¿Qué?
Jesus. I thought you didn't smoke weed anymore. My God. Your reaction time is more. Your reaction time is like you have 150 milligrams of edibles in you. Yeah, but you eat them. You eat it instead. Tell me in your accent how you eat it.
Well, first of all, I hold it in my fingers. Then I open my mouth. And I put it in.
All right. This is
bite.
YouTube. I'm gonna wet
That's
myself.
it. I bite and I chew. I don't know what you are thinking of.
Hopefully, do you have false teeth and you gum it when you chew? Because that sounds a little rough.
No. Not yet. I'm looking forward to it. I want to get the screw-ins,
Seems brilliant.
Yeah.
Where were we? My gummy's hitting. For reals, yo. Did we blast off on a tangent from something that you want to get back to, or did I not finish?
Yeah, you were just wrapping up your how I got into radio story because we had all done ours, and
We're just doing our radio stories.
Oh, with the synchronicity thing, keep it with the Ron and Ron. I did want to say that it was funny where, so I get into it, and then I'm there at IOD, and I'm like, holy shit. And then when Cox sold us to Paxson to go work with you people,
what do you mean, you people?
we knew, you're Russian, right? So we knew that everything they were getting everything. Paxson was getting everything except for Phil Hendry. So still going to be Neil and but Rick and Suds were going to go back in the afternoons from the morning. So what was there going to be our new morning show? And I'd heard some stuff that Ron, and we were kind of joking about it. Some of the guys were like, right, really, maybe. Who? And then we've heard stuff. Anyway, then I get called into Nichols' office. I think I'm getting fired because we just got sold. I'm thinking, yeah, you're going to be the one. You're out, or if you want a job with them, or still here, or whatever at Cox. Should have taken that gig. No. I think I'm getting fired. And then he says to me, I go into his office, and he's like, so didn't you tell me when I hired you, you said you were a big Ron and Ron fan, right? I went, yeah, but they haven't been on the air here for a while, so I don't know what they're like anymore. He goes, well, actually, they're going to be our new morning show. The fuck out of here. Really? And he's like, well, they're looking for a new producer. Yeah, me? Get the fuck, nah. Really? Yeah. So I put you on a thing. I told the guy there that's doing the thing, hiring, this guy that Neil Rogers would go on to just trash. Who we all trashed him. Tommy Kramer. Remember hearing about Tommy Kramer? Oh my God. He was just basically there to help destroy the Ron and Ron show, but pretend that he was our friend. You know, he was a corporate cunt. Dressed
Was he a
with
consultant?
He was another hat. He was another one with a hat. Neil would talk about his hat was moving. It's sitting on the chair, but it's moving. So I flew over to Tampa to meet with them and to audition, and go and sit in with the show for a couple of days. And I didn't realize the plane that I was getting on was going to be so small. And I was nervous. I hadn't flown in years. And I think that was the first time I flew since Australia, which I swore I wouldn't fly again because it was turbulence all the way home, every flight. And all of them, a lot of those flights are 7-8 hours. So anyway, I slam a big yard of beer in the airport bar. Like, should I piss? Nah, I'll wait till I get on the plane. Not realizing the plane is a small plane that doesn't have a toilet. As soon as I get in there, I'm like, I go over to the captains, the pilots. I'm like, where's the restroom? I don't see a thing. Like, no, there ain't one on this flight. It's only 45 minutes. You'll be good. I was good for 20 minutes. Luckily, there were only 5 other people on the plane. And I'm writing. I'm trying to write. I'm just trying to keep my head, keep my brain off of my bladder, and just writing a bunch of stuff. I had a story treatment I was writing, and I was thinking of Ron and Ron stuff. And all of a sudden, I can't fucking do this anymore. And I go to the pilots. I go, guys, I can't. How long we got? Like, we're about 15 minutes. I'm like, I can't do it. I can't do it. And one of them goes, listen. He looks back. He looks behind me. He looks down the what is it called, the cabin, and he sees like nobody's in the back, right? And I go, no. And everybody seems to be asleep. Just take a couple of puke bags, double them up, go in the back of the plane, piss in that, and just take it off the fucking plane. Like, you got it, brother. I fucking ran to the back of the plane, dude. Just ran back there. I stuffed those motherfuckers together, and I'm like, and then, but of course the plane's doing this, so it takes like 3 minutes to start pissing. Because I can't stand up. It's not a full thing. So I've got my knee on all the way to the back. It was one seat all the way down. There's one seat on each side, and in the back there's 3 seats. Like a couch, so one for each side, and then there's that middle thing. I was like there, but I had my knee on the couch part and kind of squatted trying to piss. I swear to God, it took 2.5 minutes to start pissing. So I get off the fucking plane and meet Tommy Kramer. I got a bag of piss with one hand and shakes him with the other. And it was so fitting because that's what he was, a bag of piss. Oh, so hilarious.
I can tell you were on a cheap flight. They didn't even have a Gatorade bottle for you to pee in.
Oh man, that would have been the best. Oh, that big wide mouth. It got to a point where I remembered to always have an empty one in my truck and that little net in the super cab. I always had one just in case. I got to tell this because Ron and Ron with them. I don't get the gig. They gave it to the guy that ended up quitting that I'd already mentioned before. Because Diaz was the only one that didn't like me. And then when they actually go to make the move to come to Fort Lauderdale, he quits the show.
Great.
He was the only one that, so they had to replace him with the new Ron. But Ronnie and Fezzi liked me. But Diaz was like, no, that's why the other guy got the gig. And then Christmas, right at New Year's, then on the show, remember, there was it's online, you can hear it, where they're doing shows from Orlando. And Diaz, like Benny's like, yeah, he just found out. Like, yeah, you're not coming. You're quitting. Yeah, keep going. There's a whole thing. It's on there. So that was funny. But then when I get there, I was the board op for that at the beginning when they were still in Tampa. And then when they got to Ronnie and Fezzi pulled me in anyway and went, yeah, you're part of it anyway. You didn't get that gig because he's here. But then I was still part of it. I was still one of them. And then to a point where when Kramer, when this fucking guy would come in, he'd always come in at like 9:30, half hour left of the show. He'd come in and he'd go over and sit at the computer in the corner in the studio. And then you could sometimes hear him laughing, and they didn't. And the studio was set up to where I would be looking into the studio, but it would be they would be like this. The guys would be like Fezzi here, and then the board, and then the two Rons, and then whoever's at the end or whatever, and then I can't see the rest of the room. So Ronnie would just kind of, he could just do this, and he'd give me signals whether to call in as Ace Ventura or Sling Blade or whatever characters I would call in as, or he'd look down the thing and he'd do this, and I knew to go on one of the lines and call Kramer to call his fucking phone, his cell phone, so he'd leave the room. So all of a sudden you'd hear a little, and he'd get up and leave, and then Ronnie would go. Give me a little thumbs up. It's great. Anyway, Fez is dead. Fez is dead, baby. Fez is dead. He actually said my name when his final show when he retired in 2015. When he went on this list of all the thank yous, all these people through the years. He went, oh, he said Batman. Holy shit. That was neat. I got a little tickle. I love that fucking guy. We had a lot of fun, even off the air. All right, there's the Ron stuff. There, boom.
Oh.
Your turn. Sorry, I've been babbling because I got to pee. Oh, here, it's going to be real good for you guys because I'm going to go take a piss so you can really take over. Wow, don't jump in all at once to the bed.
Oh, we were just waiting for you to leave to start.
Oh, you want to talk? Oh, because you'd rather do it behind my back.
Yeah.
That's why I love you. That's why I love you. Remember that one time?
Right,
what is it? One of the girls. Before I go, real quick though, one of the girls at the school, it wasn't Natalie. It was one of the other girls that called me Jim, and she said something about she'd made a joke. I don't know. She said something, didn't realize what she was doing. Something about a relationship, and I went, said something to me, and I went, well, I'm not really ready for a relationship right now. But thank you for asking. Something about making my life a living hell, kind of like from the movie. And she didn't even get it. It was funny, even though she called me Jim Carrey. Whatever, stupid.
Yeah. Anywho. Yeah, there's some characters in that radio class. Yeah. But yeah, seriously. Well, I'll bring it up when he gets back. That the whole the price of admission was worth it. Just having the teacher. He was, and you know what? One of the first things he taught us was he totally crapped on interning. His thing was never. Huh?
You told me about that. I remember you told me about that. Yeah. About not.
Never.
He said, "Don't intern.
Never do for free what you could be paid for."
Yeah, I'm glad I only did it for a couple of months, but.
And I mean that I'd seen. I guess it was maybe Paxson or Clear Channel. They were fairly good about hiring their interns, but it's still a gamble, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the way we used to be told was, why? What are you going to get out of doing the internship? Yeah, you're going to get some experience, but you can't use that experience on a resume because then in the interview they're like, well, you didn't get it over there. Why should we give it to you here? If you were already working over there, so it's like. However,
yeah,
Had my first gig 3 months into the program. And then I had a second gig. Then I had a third gig. Then the third gig stuck, you know. But yeah.
Keep going.
Anyway, yeah, just talking about the the broadcasting program that 3 months in I already had my first gig.
Was it that long?
You know. Yeah, it was like 3 months. Of course, it wasn't INZ. It was
Talk
a
lower,
Spanish
baby.
station.
Talk lower to me, baby.
It was a Spanish station, but I did not get to speak because I was not Colombian. But that was good. Then I got a Haitian station. Well, not really. It was WKAT, which half the day was Spanish radio piece, and then the other half was a radio, and that's not what it was called. That's what I called it, because when everybody walked in, it was a, then you head to the Mapule, and you're okay. They won't cut you then. No, I'm kidding. No, everybody was cool there. And that was like a babysitting gig. I was just the employee in the station that collected the checks for being on the air.
Nice hand motion there. Hey, again, I'm going to ask you.
Sexy voice.
Get closer and talk more like me, because the more you get back, the more you get louder, and the more the sound is shit. And I want to hear you, homeboy.
I got it. It's either this.
I want to hear you.
I look like a human being,
No, you're fine right there. No, you don't have to get that.
Pause.
Now you look like Ace. Speaking of Ace Ventura, now do the. I can't do it, Captain. Haven't got the power. No, I'm just saying, dude. For sound quality, when you're right there, and you talk normal, it sounds great. But the more you get back, the more you start to get louder, and the more the sound starts to get really shitty. And then what you're saying gets more annoying to listen to. It's already annoying when you're saying it. The sound quality makes it worse.
That's just me.
Yeah, thanks for killing the joke. One thing. Are you done with the KAT thing? Sorry.
Oh, no, I quit that when I got the full time at INZ.
I meant, were you done with the story?
Oh, yeah. That was no big deal. I was just babysitting. It was wonderful. I got to watch every show on Fox on Friday. I got to browse Prodigy. Eh? How about that? Showing my age there.
Wow.
They had Prodigy in there.
Damn, son.
Yeah.
But going back to the back to the school, one thing I would remember all the time was you'd go and you'd ace a room, you'd learn how to use it, and then you'd spend the rest of the day drawing.
May as well do something with the time. You got paper and pen around,
Well, yeah, but you were good at it, and I was like, why aren't you doing more of this? Keep doing this. And then, one of my favorite stories, go ahead.
No,
what were you going to say?
No, you go.
Talk, bitch.
You're leading to something, bro. Go for it.
No, I was just going to talk about how I had my first tattoo, because we had that one kid that started, it was Alex. He started in our class, and he had just gotten a tat, and I was like, wow, I've been thinking about getting one. And where'd you go? And he told me about this place. And more synchronicity, because it turns out that the tattoo artist that I went to that he had done, Johnny, that's where Tracy Hogan used to get her tats done. And I didn't know this until I hadn't met Tracy Hogan yet. Come to find out later on when I met Tracy and Craig, then we like, you got that done at Johnny's? That's what it. Anyway, which was years before, a few years before. Anyway, what was it? It was like I had you draw up. It was a bass clef, and it had like a banner that said rock and roll, and it was like in a ball of fire that was kind of coming at you. It was like that. That's what I had you do.
I think that was the other guy named Juan that you knew that drew tattoos. What I did for
Juan?
you was, get you a skull with Slash's hat on it.
No.
That wasn't what you had me draw for you?
No, that's the story.
Are you sure?
No. What you did was super cool. I had you touch it up like for like a couple weeks. I'm like, okay, move this over here, and What about a little bit of this? Blah blah blah. And it was like, fuck yeah, man, this is awesome. And I went and I had $120. I had $100 for the tip to the tat, and 20 for a tip, and that's all I had. And this was '94, so I didn't have a credit card yet. I don't think they even took them at the time. At that place, Johnny, I don't even think took them. Anyway, I went in there, and we were waiting. It was me and Eric and Alex, and we were waiting for like 45 minutes because he was doing somebody else. And I'm looking around all over the place, and one of the ones that I actually saw that I liked was a Slash-esque thing where it used to be right here. It was a skull with a top hat, and it had a hole in the head, in the forehead. But it was funny, 'cause it was more like a third eye to me. And it had a monocle and a cigarette hanging out and smoke coming up. And I saw that one, like, $100. Right? That's weird. That's cool. And I'm looking around, just waiting, and we're shooting the shit, blah, blah. Anyway, finally, Johnny's done, starts talking. And also, I had you do a thing that said Excalibur, which I've had you kind of do again.
That one because let me tell you, transitioning a sword into a mushroom, bro. That's.
But this was I wasn't doing the mushroom thing. No, that was just a couple years ago, right. Which I've not done. But this was back then. It was just the word, and with the sword. There was no mushroom thing back in '94 when you did it, and it was a small little thing. It was cool. So I had those two, and I figured one of these is gonna be $100, right? So blah blah blah. We're talking. I go, okay. So this I got these two ideas. What about this one? I show him the fireball thing with the bass clef, and he goes, oh, that'll be $175. And I went, oh, shit. Oh, I ain't got that. And I'm thinking, the one with just letters, Excalibur. I'm thinking, oh, what about this one? Yeah, this got to be $100, right? Oh, that's $180, $190.
Shit.
How much for that skull with the top hat? $100? Done. Done. And this is after weeks of going over my first hat. There's going to be either this one or this one. Weeks of this going, and then, how much for that one? Take it.
If you really cared, you would have waited a little longer, saved the money up, and gotten what you really wanted. That I worked so hard on that apparently I can't even remember, because I'm remembering the end result and not the idea I came up with. I wish you still had it, man. I'd love to see that thing.
Fuck, I wish I did. I wonder if I do. I mean, I don't have a lot of stuff. I have a couple of boxes that doesn't have a lot of stuff, old stuff. But I threw away DAT tapes of the Ron Ron show and the Tara and Wayne show. Fucking, I threw away a lot of stuff that I shouldn't have thrown away because it's this stuff's valuable like Skinner shit, So I wish I did have that, but it was just if you could picture, it's like a ball of fire coming at you with the trail of fire behind it, and then in the middle was a bass clef, and in front of that was a banner that said rock and roll, and I was going to put it right here, or down a little bit. Well, here, but then
pretty talented guy.
But that's where the skull and top hat went, and then I covered it up later on with roses. And other stuff, and the roses has my daughter's initials, and then the bottom row has her birth date, and each rose has the blah blah whatever. But yeah, you do nothing but draw. Here, draw me a tattoo. And then it was either that when I would go to Juan, it was either Juan.
Yeah.
Well, we did the lunch thing, but also it was you where I'd go to, and if I all right, this room I got to go do that because you were already ahead of me. You were already there, and then when I would go into a room to go ace it, Bob would go over this, that, and the other. Usually you were the one that would help people. You were the one that would show people because you had already aced it. You'd be the one that go through it, and then all right, now go do your thing, and then you'd leave, and then I'd go back like 3 times. Juan.
Okay.
I need help.
Oh, wait. Sorry, my throat is getting dry from the. Okay.
And that's I told you to get a drink. And you and I were the only rockers. Everybody else was all into either the urban stuff or the pop stuff. Who was it? Robert and oh Jesus, Susy. WPOW, Power 96.
Oh,
They were
yeah,
all into
yeah,
that
yeah.
shit. And we're over there with all the guitar shit going, no, we got to rock this shit out, guys. Oh, got to tell this story then. I want more Susy. But anyway, but I do have to say this because of the class. This popped in because we got Kimba in the picture there. Kimba actually, was part running the Bob Gaynor, anything about Bob. She's part of that stuff. So because she's there, here, this is one of my favorite stories of our class. Remember how we would have guest speakers, and one time we were supposed to have.
They all said,
"Get out of radio." They were all right, but then they were usually wrong after that. No, some of them some were better than others, but because we had that class and everybody, all the people that besides us, they didn't know anything Zeta or She. We were like the only ones that knew what Zeta, or WIOD. Everybody else, nobody really knew any of that stuff. It was just us, me, you, and Eric, and you, I, and Eric. Because see how I stuck myself in the middle? Because sometimes I want to be the one getting spit roasted. So we what? I was just waiting for a laugh. And
as a member of the grammar police, it's Eric, you, and I.
See? I was still. Oh, damn! That meant that I'm not in the middle anymore.
Right. Yeah, I was letting you be in the middle because you seemed to like it there. So
you get. What is it? BOBW? Best of both worlds? Right? If you're in the middle. So, I don't know. I'm just making shit up as I go. Like Indiana Jones, speaking of hats. So, we were supposed to have Randy Rhodes from IOD. Not Randy Rhodes, guitar player. Randy Rhodes, Air America, who was she's fucking awful. She was good for a bit, but they wouldn't put me on the air. I used to call her fucking radio show. When I was in Cali, I used to call her to try to get on to talk about 9/11. They would always hang out. I couldn't get through. I work at Premier Radio Networks. You will put me on the air. No, I didn't do that more than twice. So, she was supposed to be our guest speaker, and it turned out that ended up being the day that she quit IOD because she always wanted to be in the afternoons after Neil. And Phil was the part-time guy before, and people loved him, and they threw him in the and they put him at night and gave that afternoon thing to her, and then Nickel came along and went, this ain't working. And he flipped it, put her back at night, and put Phil on in the afternoon, which is the classic lineup, and she didn't like that and quit. So we didn't have a guest speaker, and Bob's like, I don't know what to do. So what does he do? He calls Barbara Sloan, who used to do Traffic and was also a comedian, a local comedian, I believe. And Kimba. He calls those two to come. Oh, he actually had called them, asked them to come in to see if they wanted to sit in and listen to Randy. So they were there to listen to Randy, actually. And then he went, how about you guys just be the guest speakers? And my favorite fucking thing is after all done, all the girls, Susy actually said it because she hated rock and roll. And she actually came up to me and went, it's the best. Kimba's the best guest speaker we've had. I'm like, that's what I fucking been telling you. I've been fucking telling you. And it was great. And they got an introduction to her, and like that. There it is. And Barbara was really funny. Kimba was obviously funny too. But they were the best guest speakers we had, and they weren't even supposed to be the guest speakers. And then a whole crew, bunch of people, little young folks that didn't know what rock and roll was. Now they do. It's like It's almost like I'm quoting an AC/DC song. If they had "Baby" with Leonard Skinner. That would be Junkyard, and I'm not even wearing a Junkyard shirt today. Son of a bitch. Whatever. What's next?
Well, let's see what else happened along the way there.
What? It's at the school, you mean?
No, I mean the school. We just screwed off, and
sometimes we did pretty good.
The great thing about the course is, as long as you got a job, that's it. You finished the course. Congratulations. Here's your certificate.
Oh yeah, if you had Bob Gaynor was on your if Bob Gaynor was on your resume, you're pretty good. You should be good unless you were a true stooge. Oh, and speaking of Bob, let's go to this. So this is the group of people for the Air Awards. they weren't completely responsible because you send off the bits, the stuff that you submit. The 5 minutes of unedited piece of a show, or whatever you're doing. Like some people did bits, from other morning shows or whatever. All the different categories for the awards. And my ex-wife and I did the Tara and Wayne show on the weekends. We were a weekend non-music show, and this is the crew. And there's Bob right in the middle. I didn't even know this shit when we got nominated, and I'm just like, I'm thinking we can't win because we're up against Boog Shambi, who wasn't Boog Shambi as he is today. Now ESPN, baseball. He's very well known. They submitted 3 different things. They were nominated 3 different times. It was all QAM and us. It was all these sports things and then just us. But luckily, I found this one 5-minute piece. That we had a bunch of, but this one 5-minute that was just boom boom, kind of like the Ron Ron thing. Or it was just this one thing that started somewhere and just went. And we had 5 minutes of just complete hilarity. And I'm like, that's a good 5 minute. And so I didn't think we were going to win. Like obviously QA, they win everything when it comes to this, weekends and all that, that kind of shit. And then they said our name. Oh shit! Oh shit! I don't know what to say. I didn't think we were going. And Tara was pregnant at the time with Riley, and she just goes up, says thank you, and then hands me the award. And I went. We're standing there in front of all these people, up on that stage. And I just won an award for being a wise ass. Mom is going to be so proud. Thank you. But the best part, the reason I tell the story is because afterwards I didn't realize, I completely forgot about Gaynor being part of that. And then there he is. I went, oh yeah, you were there to see that? And he was like, I don't believe it. It was so great.
Hilarious.
It was a great hug. I'm like, holy shit, I forgot you were here and you were part of this. Because I didn't know. I was like, it was my first one actually going there because everybody else had been that I was with besides Tara. Anyway, Bob.
Yeah.
And I think that's, I don't know, do you recognize that studio? Is that the on-air studio? What? That's not an on-air, that's a production studio. Because
it looks like a production studio, yeah. Would that would have been in minor league stuff?
Yeah.
All those soundboards look the same in a bunch of
some of them,
stations.
yeah. It's just
On account of Roy Pressman was pretty much putting every studio in South Florida together, I think. I don't know.
right, but I didn't know if you might recognize one. It was one of the rooms at LRN. It had to be at LRN.
It might have. You mean
maybe
the
that's
station proper, or
maybe it's fucking WINZ because with Jose being in there because that's our old boss there of the in the back row, second to the last to the right. That's our old boss, Susy and I's old boss. He wasn't your boss, was he?
Who?
Jose Masso.
No. I never had Jose's. I wish I had.
Oh,
that was my boss.
So your boss. Oh, that's the story I want to get to. That's
so
in the last podcast, and Whip 110, I talked about how my going away party at the Billabong put a lady that I knew and used to hang out with all the people that were there. Were you there? Were you there that night? Oh yeah, of course you were. That's why I'm telling the story. I started all of a sudden another Billabong night popped into my head. Sorry, because there were many. Sorry, I told you the gum. I'm maybe a little stoned. I don't know. Yeah, she ended up seeing this guy that was playing. He was just in the back playing pool, and she had dated him a few times long before or whatever. They ended up hooking. They've been together ever since. And I forgot that night was also the outing of your relationship because your boss, who was also my boss when I was on the air. Jose was my boss, doing the production stuff. But
right, I had the same issue.
I forgot Peter even came. That didn't sound right. What?
There you go.
Oh, I didn't realize you were going to do that. Oh, because if I'd have known, then I would have. The fuck? Why didn't it play? That's not right. Why does it do that? Ever since I got this new camera, there's this delay thing, and I can't catch up. Sometimes I had it down where it was just like I knew to say it. Keep talking, and have really get it in there before I hit it. So it was there, and there was no. Then that one, dude, it didn't fucking never made a sound. You stupid son of a Lisa.
It keeps putting you on delay every time you play it.
driving me. It's got to get on the screen first. I need a 360. I really need a 360.
Yeah.
Anyway, what was I gonna? What were we saying?
So Peter,
the party,
Peter
your
came.
goodbye party at the
We
Billabong.
were at Peter. Peter came. That's what we were.
She's a good producer, huh? She's the one making sure everything stays. He sure did, and he apparently that was where your relationship had been underground until he walked in and went, hey.
I think it was actually ridiculous because we maybe like 2-3 weeks we've been going out.
When did you leave? When did you leave?
It was the end of February. I think it was March 2nd of 2022. No, 2002. March 2nd. Yeah, I worked through February and I left.
Well, I mean, maybe most people might have known. We started going out in July of 2001.
Yeah.
Oh, I knew then. Yeah, I knew. Definitely, I knew. Shit, I didn't realize though. I guess I forgot. I don't know. Or maybe nobody ever told me that's when it got outed. That's fucking funny.
Yeah, because Peter didn't know. I don't think Jose knew either.
I just love the fact that I'd go to leave, and my leaving made two people go like, two couples like this. Like, I should leave more often, right? Okay, yeah. See you guys.
Bastard, come back.
Anyway.
Well, we're already together, honey. So.
Yeah.
We'll just stay together.
Anywho, all right, you.
How funny is it? How funny is it that the timing works just fine when you hit remove yourself from the fucking screen? It works just great. Hit any other button and there's some delay. Jesus.
My thing was, I remembered two things about that night. One, Pilsner Urkel.
That's what you were drinking?
Yeah, that's what I'd never had that brand before, so I was trying it. It said Urkel. I just thought that was hilarious, so I kept telling you, look, Pilsner Urkel.
Have anybody ever noticed? Hold on, Juan. I want to hear what you're saying, but I also don't want it to sound like shit. So I don't know why you keep backing away.
I'm close up, Ron. I'm close up right here.
You're fine. But the closer, see, when you know that you're closer, you talk lower because you know that the microphone's right there. You're in a big room. Come on, we're audio people.
Yeah, I know. The
closer you are, and the closer and the cooler you talk, the more beauty it sounds. The more you keep doing this shit, and then you keep talking and then it starts crackling and sounding like shit, and then when you can't really understand what you're saying, then the timing gets all fucked up. Man, I really, really don't want to say that ever again. But you said it 7 times. So.
All right.
I want to hear what you're saying.
Okay.
But I also don't want it to sound like shit. Go ahead.
Anyway, the other thing I was thinking is, why'd we invite this guy? That was my other thought. As he sat there in front of us, smiling at us, we were just
why did Wayne invite this guy? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, that's what I thought to myself.
I didn't invite anybody. I just said I'm just having a. Yeah, there's a few of us just said we're gonna have a thing, and it just word spread. I didn't invite anybody.
He Michael Scotted himself?
Of course he did. His name is Peter.
And then he sat like right in front of us, like he could.
Yeah, right in front from us on the bench, and it's like
a bunch of tables.
That's
this is totally normal, Yeah.
What were you guys doing? Were you guys holding hands?
No, we were just there hanging out.
In the middle of a sex act.
And he just started looking and smiling and nodding, and I'm like, "What's up, bro?" And then the next Monday, he calls me into the office and makes me sign one of those Sex in the City contracts. Remember that shit?
Yeah. Meanwhile, Roger Koch gets popped for fucking that assistant
the continuity
girl.
Chick.
No names. I only say Roger. I only say his name because I played the Neil thing. I played a Neil thing on the last podcast that named him.
Roger.
So fucking great.
Yeah, no, I did.
Yeah, the
Jose
same people
didn't
hated, and at the same time, the best part, at the same time, the general manager was married to the news director.
Yep.
Do as I say, not as I do, and they wonder why we had fucking attitudes.
Hmm.
But we did it anyway. I mean, it's radio. I mean, we're like the
Yeah,
carnies of the entertainment industry. Of course, there's
yeah.
going to be all sorts of stuff going on. You
It's
know.
completely incestuous. Like I said, Susie and I were, we're birthday twins. It's gross. I don't know what that means. I was just going for something. But when you said
But
sex act at the Billabong, I was like, yeah, that's one of the things that popped into my head because I've seen a lot of shit happen at the Billabong.
Oh shit! Wasn't that like right next to a strip club? It was next to
Uh,
Scarlett's, wasn't it?
no, it was next to the railroad tracks off Hallandale Beach Boulevard in a strip mall that was kind of sideways, and it ran
Yeah, I
down. And
remember
there
that.
was a massage parlor a few doors
Oh,
down,
massage parlor.
I
Okay,
believe, but
that was
whatever
a
that
strip club.
means. And then just on the other side of the tracks, over on the other side of 95 was the Button South, the
Oh,
rock
okay.
that I referred to earlier, the rock club that was open till 4 a.m. That same girlfriend, Carrie, one time we were there, not with a Ron thing, just a regular night of it, drinking. I was fucking headbanging so much to the live band. She literally had to carry me out of there for 3 days. I couldn't I had to do this to hold up my head. My neck was just complete rubber.
Jesus.
It was because I just fucking done this so much. Oh, it was awful. Oh, that's a bad memory. Ooh, I'm gonna have nightmares.
But yeah,
yeah.
Jose was
Speaking
cool.
of
Yeah.
the Bad Religion concert popped up.
Yeah, that was my next on my list.
You know, I'd like to say I remember half the concert, but
You were so stoned, you spent most of it. It was at the Edge, right? It was at the Edge
no,
in
yeah, it
Fort
was at the
Lauderdale.
edge. It wasn't that, man. It was that apparently I found my brand of beer because I had like I don't know how many, at
You
least
didn't drink
seven.
as much as me. That's for sure. You didn't drink as much as
I
me.
mean, the other stuff I could handle. I mean, the other stuff. I
But you
mean,
smoked more weed than I did. That was back when I wasn't much of a smoker. So
yeah.
I would only take a couple of
Again,
hits so I wouldn't get, but you were more of a smoker, so I was more of a drinker. So you hit it pretty good. We smoked, you were smoking quite a bit. Well, I was hammered, but
yeah,
you drank some, but yeah.
and that was fine. It was when we got to the edge, and I had started having beers, and all I remember is I'm like looking at the band, and I'm like I'm tired, and I just went to go sit down against the wall around like the little area around the bar, just sitting up
Well,
on the floor.
it was like you
Yeah,
come in and then there was the bar and then you kept
yeah,
going around and then through here and then there was the stage. So it basically at the end of the show, I'm standing there like an idiot because I'm right at the edge of the stage and I don't realize that Bad Religion doesn't do encores. And I'm waiting, and next thing you know, everybody else is gone behind me, and I'm waiting. The roadies are coming out, and they're packing everything up, and I'm like, well, "What's going on?" Everybody else is gone. Then I turn. Where's Juan? Is he still over there? And they're sitting on the floor on the other side of the bar. Wait, on the other side. So it's basically he's sitting against one wall, and I'm leaning up against another, going. He's sleeping, and I'm like, I want more.
yeah. I think I even said, "Oh, what? There's no encore? You don't do an encore? Who doesn't do an encore?"
I was literally saying that to the roadies as they're pulling wires and pulling cords and doing shit. What? No encore? And they're looking at me. Obviously not, fuckhead. Pulling. I didn't realize it was that was my first Bad Religion show and my last.
And the best roadie show you ever got.
Yeah,
Speaking of roadies, and I talked. Oh, was that off before we started recording? And I talked about the Stone Roadie, right?
Yeah,
Was that before recording?
before.
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, check out the Stone Roadie. You guys will love that Stone Roadie podcast. Greg Reed, hilarious. Anyway, but yeah, that Bad Religion show. I do remember being really worried about driving because I was like, dude, I've been drinking more, but I'm sort of more awake because you drove because you weren't the drinker because I was drinking when you picked me up at my house. Um, my apartment, my house.
I
Whatever happened.
remember this really wide turn I took in a busy intersection. Nothing. I'm not. Let's just say if the wrong person would have been behind me, Yeah, I wouldn't have been able to make it to work the next week
You did a,
because
you did,
it
you,
was a gimme. I was a gimme, and I'm like, it was a good lesson though. So after that, I'm like, no.
you did a
And there was no
Walter,
Uber back then or anything, but
you did a Walter White with Hank in the passenger seat. Just,
I mean,
but we
dude,
didn't get
it
hit.
was. I was, that was not good, man. I was like, no, 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 no. Let me just make it to this guy's house. Let me just make it to this guy's house. I'll just chill. I don't know how long I was there
I
after we got to the house.
I
I just know I
don't.
needed to, I just know I needed to smoke a little more to level me out.
I'm pretty
But
sure if I remember, if memory is correct, it's usually what happened was we sat in the parking lot talking about the show for a bit, and I kept babbling, and you sobered up more, and then I think you took a piss in the parking lot, and then drove away.
it's possible.
You had a ride. You had quite a ride because you had to drive all the way back to that Hialeah place. Isn't that in Russia?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, and I still made it. See, that Miami driving. You know, you learn how to drive there. You could drive anywhere, any condition. No, don't, no. That was like one of those. I can't believe I was that stupid. You know. So
That
now
does
I
kind of
just
sound
watch
like a
DUI
commercial.
videos on YouTube. Huh?
I said that kind of the way you said that. It sounded like a commercial. Like the, I can't believe it's not butter.
Oh, yeah,
What
I
did you
can't believe I
say?
was that stupid.
What was it you
Yeah,
just
it's like,
said?
nah. Like,
After that, what were you saying after that?
oh, now all I do is watch DUI videos on YouTube.
Yes, he does.
Those are fun. I'm actually thinking about incorporating field sobriety tests into my training routine with my clients. You know, there are people with equilibrium problems. You know, I don't just get people to lose weight. I help people out with their balance. I help them out with their
That's
posture.
genius.
You know,
That's
it's
genius.
good stuff.
Brilliant.
It's good stuff. And you know, should they happen to be in the situation, they already got a primer. You know, I might help them go a little easier. I don't know.
Let me help
I'm
you
just
pass
trying
your,
to.
your field sobriety
I'm
test.
just trying to get them to improve their balance in an everyday activities. You know,
I'm just trying to help.
I'm just trying to help people. You know, that's my thing.
It reminded me of the Bill Hicks bit about when I get pulled over drunk driving. I see those lights. I get out thinking I just made it to the next club. Shit. There was something I was just gonna say, and it's gone. Oh, we're gonna pull up this picture. Pull up this one too. What's this? That's definitely LRN, of course. That's one of our studios. That must be the on-air studio. It's gotta be.
Yeah.
And another picture of Kimba right there in the
That's
middle,
weird.
and Doug Turkel in the middle in the blue. Ooh, tell you the story. So I'm in LA, and an agent. They opened up the Don LaFontaine, the voiceover lab after he had died. They put this thing together, and one of my agents was part of it because she had been I had the same agent as Don LaFontaine. TGMD. It was Tisherman before, but then when Steve retired, then it evolved. Anyway, then Don died, and they made this lab, and it's in the SAG building, and it was for SAG members. So it was a cool lab before all this tech. You know, it was neat for people to go and learn about voiceover, and they'd have things there. You know, little. They'd have people, guest speakers, and you could sign up for those things, or you could go and and practice doing voiceover shit. And there was a studio. My neighbor ended up being the fucking engineer years later after he moved away, and then he turned out Mickey was the fucking engineer at the lab. Anyway, when the lab first opened, they had their first. They had like an inaugural guest speaker thing. And there was an agency there, a couple ladies from another agency. I already had Tisherman, and that was part of that. That was the reason I was there to begin with. Anyway, I get there. My agent, two people from a few certain agencies in LA could go to this thing. And Vanessa put me on the list. So I'm sure I'll definitely want to go. So it was me and somebody else from Tisherman and a few other things. And I get there and, set up, see a few people, and then I go walking down the hallway to the restroom, and all of a sudden I hear this familiar voice. I'm like, he says something. I don't remember. I'm like, what the? And I turn around. It's fucking Doug Turkel.
Huh.
He'd flown from Florida to be in this, to come and sit in at this thing that I was part of. So he's there. And it was so funny because afterwards he's like, and everybody got up to read, These were all people who had talent, and then in front of these other people, we would go into the booth and be given stuff to read, TV promos and a commercial. Everybody would take their shot and then listen to the folks, evaluate them. It was great. And these were all working people. It wasn't people just off the street. And afterwards, Doug comes on and he goes, that agency, she really likes you. I was in the room here watching as you were reading. They really like you. You should, dude, but my agent is part of this. That's why I'm here. I can't go jump ship. I can't do that. And I didn't. And I should have. I should have taken Doug's fucking advice. Just like, I'm kidding. Everything was fine. It would have been different, of course, but something would have happened different. But I just couldn't do that. I was like, nah, that's gross. Why would I jump? But then after I didn't do that, I sat back there, and sometimes when I wasn't working, I'm like, man, I wonder if I'd be working more right now if I was with that other agency. Stupid fuck. But it was just funny. I had to tell you, Doug's in there, synchronicity, saw the people, he flew to fucking LA from Florida just for this thing. It was really cool. And I didn't know, I was just going to take a piss, like I'm going to do again in a second.
Oh, shit.
And I hear this voice. Oh, I know that voice. Doug's a voiceover guy for the people who are, for the whips. Obviously he's a voice guy. But he went to the same school years before Juan and I. What else? Is that the other picture? And I put up the other one. Yeah, we'll just go back to this. Yeah, you guys can tell another story because I got to pee again. All right, wake up. Hurry up.
You need some.
What?
Huh?
I'm just kidding. You
I don't know.
What is going on? Anyway.
I'm glad he
So,
got
yeah.
the picture of you picking Lincoln's nose.
Well, you're going to pick one. May as well be Lincoln's.
True that.
But yeah. So, yeah, it's kind of tough because his radio experience is so much more interesting than mine. My biggest thing is I think I creeped Jennifer Lopez out at a game.
J-Lo?
Yeah. I don't know.
Were you being a creep?
I don't know. I might have looked over a couple of times, but it wasn't just her. There was her. It was Pete Diddy or Tiddlywinks, whatever he was calling himself that week. It was like a bunch of several people, and I happened to be looking, but I did notice she looked my way a few times, and it wasn't because I was so pretty. And then all of a sudden, I think after the first quarter, they went into that bar, that VIP bar that was right behind where we were, and they didn't come out the rest of the game. So I like to take credit for that. It could have just been that they were just bored and went to go get drunk, but I like to think that I creeped out Jennifer Lopez.
Whatever story you're telling, don't stop. Keep going.
I think I take personal pleasure in that. Whether it's true or not,
I don't know.
Then again, I do
Was her-
overestimate my importance in the universe, so.
Was her ass pointed in your general vicinity?
No. She was just sitting to my left in a row of chairs in front of us. Then there were like people standing around, so there was no clear shot. I tried, but didn't know. No.
What are you talking about?
I'm talking about the time that I suspect I creeped Jennifer Lopez out at a Heat game.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I can't wait to hear it when I go back.
Are you back?
Well, I mean, no. I mean, when I watch it back for quality, that's the best part. When I go back, having a guest is one of my favorite parts. Is to go pee because that story gets told.
Okay.
Something I missed, and then I get that when I go back and make sure it's all good and pull clips. Oh, that's what they said. That's cool. I can't wait to
Okay.
hear it. Is what I'm saying.
Oh, yeah.
Free
Yeah.
birthday.
But
I
are you
was
done though
also-
with it? Were you done with it?
Yeah, that was it. That was
Okay.
it. You missed it.
It was cool.
There was
I didn't want to interrupt it.
Oh, no. I was also there when they kicked Jimmy Buffett out of the game. He got tossed from a game.
Why?
Because obviously one of the refs made a terrible call and he was, voicing his displeasure, but he was like right there by the basket, by the home basket.
Was he inebriated?
Possibly.
Jimmy Buffett.
I don't know.
It's Jimmy Buffett.
I'm guessing
Anyway.
maybe. I don't know.
I
I hate his brother. Go ahead.
Yeah. I'm assuming as you write that many songs about drinking, you're probably drinking. But he got kicked out. And they had this whole thing on the TV side where they had like a little stuffed parrot for a while saying "Free Buffett" or "Free Buffet." I like "Free Buffet" better. But oh my God, who did that? There was this comedian who came out on stage with a sign from the hotel that said "Free Buffet," and who the hell was that?
I don't know.
Was
that
that
one.
Bobcat? I think it might have been Bobcat.
I don't know.
I think it might have been Bobcat. I digress and talk with Tate.
Free buffet.
So yeah, got to see a bunch of people there. The what's his name? The surviving Gib. He would go all the time.
Very good.
Barry?
Yeah.
Is it Barry? Okay.
No, yeah, is it? Yeah,
The one
Barry's
with the
still
hair.
alive.
He's
one
the
with the
only
hair.
one.
The one
He's
that
the
put
only
it, the one that puts his balls in a vice.
Yeah.
The hairy one, the one that looks like kind of like Manson. No, I remember.
No, he's too tall. Too tall.
I remember going to my first Heat game to go in the box because we had the that sounded dirty. I love it. To watch from the station's place, whatever station it was. Was it WINZ at the time? I don't know. Whatever, it doesn't matter. But it was not too long after Paxson had bought us in '90. Yeah, so it must have been '97 sometime, or maybe '98. It was I went with a bunch of us went just to watch from up there, and most of the fucking time I was watching Bernie. Because I was like, that's the gig I want. The guy dressed up in the fucking the mascot. Look, he's fucking with the cops over there in the tunnel. He's fucking with the cops. I want that job. Wear a costume and go up to cops and just fucking tap them on the shoulder and run. Like, who the fuck doesn't want that gig?
Yeah.
That's my first Heat memory. Well, besides,
Yeah,
when I
yeah.
lost my virginity, but
Sure. That's always up there.
I'm so glad there's somebody here to chuckle.
I got you.
I am deadpan. I have ingrown laughter.
Speaking of which, my fucking dude, right around the belt buckle where you wear the belt, right there on my belly. Sometimes when you're taking the time on the, when you're dropping mud, I'm like, this is a good time where I could take some tweezers and, that's something that's fucking funny.
What?
It was a few years ago. I was still in L.A. And one of the things I used to love to do when I would get stoned, if I had nothing to do, if I'm just listening to something, I would get stoned, I'd get super high, and I probably have some like black hairs that you'll be able to see sticking out of them. And I'd get the mirror and I'd get the magnified mirror. That was my addiction. One of my addictions was to pull the black hairs out of my ear, the side of my ears, the ones that grow out. Most people don't notice. Now I notice. If somebody's standing there talking to me and I see all these hairs coming out of their ear, I'm like, don't you look in the mirror, motherfucker? Or the ones that have got a forest coming out of their nose. Like,
Yeah, cover them.
You hairy boy.
I resemble that, Mark.
Isn't it funny how the guys that are there's a piece that I said that on the Tara and Wayne show once. It's part of it's one of the clips from my demo where I say something about, I don't know why, but I was talking about how it's the guys that always they lose their hair on the top that always have the forest all over the rest of their body that lose their hair on the top. Isn't that weird? And they're also the biggest horn dogs. must have something to do with the follicles.
It's the misplaced testosterone.
So
there you go.
Isn't it the weirdest thing? The guys that have the hairiest bodies are usually they usually lose that strip on the top. It's funny. It's weird. It's not. I don't care. I'm not one of them. As you can tell, I got almost no hair on my body. I can show you my 6 on my chest.
All I could tell you is that maybe in the past, sometime thousands of years ago, there was a very horny, bald, hairy guy that got a lot of action.
Oh, they get action, all right.
And here we are.
But what were we saying before I got off on that? What were we saying?
Funny story. You were saying it's a really funny story.
Where were we, Susie?
Shit.
Oh, fail.
Box. No, okay.
We were talking about
your dream job as the flavor.
I was talking about Bernie. Yeah, doing the Bernie thing. Heat.
Bernie,
all right.
yeah.
All right. After
Bernie,
that, yeah, I got nothing after that.
No.
But yeah,
Yes. I'll watch it back, like I said, to we'll go. Oh, that's what I meant to say. Damn it!
Ooh, we're almost at 2 hours.
Happens all the time. Yeah, I'll kill it at 2. We'll get 15 minutes left.
That's cool.
I like it at 30. I like it on the 30s. Shitball stories. I've been told. Shitball story.
It's just a cute little thing. When I never really talked to you on the phone until I started working in continuity, and you used to call me, or I'd call you all the time for I guess for IOD stuff. For
folks for the whips that don't understand, we were in the production department. I dubbed and voiced and wrote commercials and promos, and Susie was part of taking care of the logs and making sure everything, all the spots, and among other things. Logs. But yeah, she did. Speaking of dropping mud.
No, but
So anyway,
one of the first times we talked, I don't know, because half of this, not half, maybe 30% of what we talked about was actually work related, and then the rest was just us, shooting the shit. And you said something to me, I don't remember what it was, and my response to you was "holy shit balls," and you were like, "Wait a minute, that's mine." I'm like, "No, fuck you, that's mine."
It was a Jim Carrey thing. Holy shit balls or something, wasn't it?
I don't know. I don't remember. But yeah, that's one of the first conversations I remember us having.
And it wasn't until, I think it wasn't until a few later where we realized, oh shit, we have the same birthday?
Yeah. I don't know. Was it because it was on the channels, that illustrious magazine, Clear Channel magazine?
Oh my God. Oh yeah.
What was it? Channels?
It was called Channels, yeah.
Channels. Very original title.
Every month,
it was
black
and white.
The monthly thing that would come out, yeah, and the back, wasn't it on the back where everybody's birthday or something?
Yes, I guess, yeah, on the back.
So cheesy. That's funny that you bring that up because, like I said, on Whip 110, I played back a little piece of Neil reading one of Roger Koch's quotes of the quote of the week or the quote of the day or whatever. Oh my God! Basically, yeah. What was it? What the hell was it? I played it back so many times and I can't even remember it. Something about generosity is giving more than you can, and pride is giving more than I don't know. Basically, but it was like, wait, he's explaining Paxson. Yeah, work, and we won't pay you.
Exactly.
You be generous to us so we can stick this sand-covered 9-foot dildo up your ass.
You know what though? After Paxson left, or after Paxson sold the Clear Channel, missed Paxson because.
Oh, dude. Yeah, it just kept getting worse for me. I was Cox first. I lost my Cox.
You did.
So I had the same job from 1994 until 2002. A different job, different little things, but I basically worked for the same, never lost my gig, but I worked for 3 different companies. I went Cox, Paxson, Clear Channel.
It was good at the beginning.
And it just kept getting worse.
Yeah. We used to have a lot of fun, free concerts, and then it just
got my God. Shittier. I remember when we got our paychecks, and we used to get them in envelopes, and I opened the paycheck up. It seemed a little thicker than normal, and there's two freaking tickets for Zeta Fest, VIP passes.
Oh, yeah.
And this was the good VIP, not that crap Jose Cuervo VIP they were doing at the end.
Yeah.
It was like full bar, full spread of food.
Speaking of VIPs, oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, it was sweet. And then after that, Christmas bonuses. I mean,
Before it was Clear Channel, right?
Yeah.
Well, Clear Channel did it for a little while. Very short.
No, it was very short while because
pretended
Paxson. I don't remember. When I was with Cox, I was mostly part-time with them for that, and their Christmas parties were smaller and different, and but it wasn't at the fucking station. And then when Paxson bought us, and then all of a sudden every Christmas we're having these big things at the Signature Grand, and it's this big ball. Wow. And then Clear Channel buys, we're going to have the Christmas parties here in the building.
They did Signature Grand one time. They did it, I think it was in...
Because they had just taken over, so they didn't have time to do anything else, and they didn't have that big building. But the next ones, and then after that, it was always in that big fucking building. The same place where the head dude that I was told afterwards, I left when I heard this. I was already gone when I heard this story afterwards. I think it was that following Christmas after I left, where one of the stations, the rumor was going around, it was going to flip to Spanish. And he stood there in the middle of the stairwell thing and told everybody at the Christmas party that that's all bullshit. Nobody's going to be losing their jobs, la, 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 la. And then not even 5 days later.
Yep.
Jesus. Yeah, I was in Nashville at the time when I heard that. Mike told me. And I was like, get the fuck out of here. Wow, it just did get worse. Because remember that little snack room over, where the soda machines were?
Yeah.
Back when they used to call me Dr. Pepper Man. Back when I drank, oh God, I drank so much Dr. Pepper. We would sit there, it seemed like eating, me and Doug and Bark Hoffman and a couple other people, but usually us three and Adam sometimes. We'd be sitting there eating lunch, it seemed like it was like every 3 months something would happen real nasty, like I just told, and we'd sit there and go, it can't get any worse than this. Every 3 months, we're like, oh yeah. 3 months ago when you said that, you were eating the same fucking thing. You know that, dude? And I'm like, yes, I like wings. I like wings, man. Anyway, I could have thought of something funnier for that. But it's true. It was like every 3 months we'd say that. I'm like, didn't we just say this? Didn't we just say this? But that building also, fucking 9/11. We were all working that day.
There. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
When I first found out, when I first heard it, when someone said to me, Susy, you were 20 feet away in the office. I was standing there talking to Adam Kirshner, producer of Rick and Sud Show. Well, at the time, there was no Rick and Sud Show. He was the promotions director. And Bark Hoffman in the production department as well. And we're just bullshitting. And then Alan Leininger comes up from the production department. He comes walking up, says something. He said, he didn't say the Twin Towers. He said the Empire State Building. A plane just flew in the Empire State Building, right?
I remember that. Oh,
he tells us this. We're looking at each other like, what? Get the fuck out. The three of us are standing there. And then he went back towards you in the office. He stopped in there, blah, blah, blah. And then I remember we stood there for a second. And I remember Adam going, I love a good news day. And then he ran off to the newsroom. And Bark and I are like, yeah. What were we saying?
We were all in the newsroom.
Maybe we should go to the newsroom.
Yeah.
So everybody just flooded into the newsroom.
Until we had to run and start pulling shit off the air.
Pulling shit and producing new shit, and to instantly go on the air for 7 stations.
Yeah.
And different stuff for different stations. Every station had to have different shit. Yeah, that was a fucking day. And then to come to find out Lane Reeves was there.
Yeah.
Wow. What a trip.
Damn.
Wow, I didn't realize it was going to go into 9/11. I love it. It's perfect. It's the whip.
Listen, we'll end the 9/11 story this way. Juan slept through it.
Oh no! Well, I was gonna say.
Juan slept through it.
You were working that day?
Yeah. Well, my shift was noon to 7, so I woke up at the crack of 10:50 in the morning, and I had my alarm set up for the radio, so I could wake up to Phil Henry for the rebroadcast. That mid-morning rebroadcast they used to do from the night before. And I'm hearing Michael Wolff talking about how, well, planes just crashed into the World Trade Center and basically they're not there anymore. So naturally, I thought, oh my God, Phil Henry, this is it. This is the bit, dude. And then I'm like, oh shit, I guess I'm gonna be busy today. That's what I thought.
I guess I'm gonna
I guess I'm gonna be really working today. No Rush Limbaugh.
Oh, that was the best part. Here's a little story for you. When I was working at Premiere, remember a time when I told this story to Nick Susy. I don't know if you saw Whip 107.
Mm-hmm.
You have to go to Rumble to see it because YouTube pulled it. Or you can listen to it in the other ones, all the audio places. But I was telling him because he was a Rush fan, even though Nick's like, it's weird. It's like we line up almost. Anyways, as I worked at Premiere, that was Rush's place. He was in L.A. like a week before he got popped. Remember the time when he got popped for having it wasn't his prescription? Yeah, and it was like, I think it was Viagra stuff or something. It was stuff. Anyway, a few days before that, he was in L.A. and in our building, and I was walking out into the courtyard to go have a cigarette as he was coming towards me with a few people. And I've always thought, wow, I could have been on the cover of Time magazine if I just went, wham! And sometimes there are nights when I can't sleep because I didn't do it. Because like Doug Stanhope said, it's not funny if you don't do it. But Doug Stanhope also said, have you ever considered registering as a sex offender so your friends can't bring their kids over when you have a party?
That's horrible.
That's one of the best jokes fucking ever. That's what I was going to say. There was something we were talking, I could dedicate a whole whip about something that we were just talking about. A whole whip just on one thing that I went, oh. Well, like I said, on the playback. All right. We got a few minutes left. We got everything, right? You got everything on the list?
I think we did, yeah. And it'd be great timing because my batteries my charge on my headset's about to crap out here.
Are they turning into shitballs?
They're turning into shitballs.
Full circle, sister. I've had a blast. You'll start hearing in 2.5 minutes, you'll start hearing the close music, and then you have to shut the fuck up. But until then, start talking.
Jeez, so much pressure.
No.
This was fun.
What can I say? I want to give my opinion on the Federal Reserve.
Awesome.
Let me tell you something.
Awesome.
Jekyll Island, so on and so forth.
Yes.
All right. Now I don't know what the.
Hey man, that's good enough for people. Anybody that fucking watching and listening goes, "What's he talking about?" and starts typing it in and starts looking. That's all we want. Planting seeds, brother.
There you go.
I know you were goofing. I know you were goofing, but it's still a seed planted because somebody's gonna hear it.
Have you heard about FedCoin?
We're not going in, dude. We only got a minute and a half left.
Okay, now that's just a yes or no.
I don't know anything about it. I don't know anything about it.
Okay.
We don't need money at all. We don't need any of it. I want everything on. We don't need it because then we have abundance. We have the tech for the abundance, so nobody's hungry, nobody's homeless, and when you have the abundance where you can get anything at any time because of the technology and not the way we do it now, then nobody steals because there's no point in stealing. And that's one of the reasons why everything's fucked up anyway. We're also fucked up because we're not doing our true religion, which is psychedelics. End of story. You know how you feel all healed and want to give all away your money after you trip balls? Like a Christmas Carol? There's a reason.
Well, then it could just be the way the drug is affecting your brain and you're just like really chill.
No. You've obviously never tripped. You don't know what you're talking about, son. You ain't
Yes,
tripped.
you are right. You are right. No, I agree with you. Yes. No.
Yeah. Come up to Maine and do a heroic dose of mushy with me, and Susy can be our trip guide. Just be there to hang, or we can all trip, and then you'll be going, I get it.
And what's a heroic dose there? Because
five dried grams, depending on if it's penis envy, because those are a little stronger. You can go with about 4.5.
No, you see, I had scored 3 once, but I didn't want to overdo it, so I did like half of them.
Well, I'm glad.
Then I did the other half some other time.
Well, you probably didn't even do it right. Well, you probably
Huh?
didn't do it right. You probably didn't do it right, and you got to shut the fuck up now because the close is starting. I love you guys. I had a fucking blast. But watch James Corbett, Corbett Report, Jimmy Dore Show, Russell Brand, Kim Iverson, Revolutionary Blackout Network. Look for yourself. I'm just a fun babbling lecturer or a dabbler. Remember, we're all Neo, a.k.a. Juan. Sorry I ran along. Had to bump comedian Hans Kim. Thanks, Gary. Woo! Daddy loves you. Right? Say goodbye. Messing with my people.
Goodbye. Okay.
Okay?
Now he says.